respect that, I think.
All right.
All right. Do you want to crack it?
Yeah, I'll crack it.
All right. I'm nervous.
Okay. We are back with another guest episode, which I don't know about Miles's end, but for my end, this has been the most sought after topic. I think because one, people didn't know this side of my life, and so that's probably really interesting to them. And two, even if it's not about me, people just have this taboo about strippers and the strip club. Strippers. And so yeah, everybody had a ton of questions. It's just such a interesting world that not a very small percentage of people are ever going to experience firsthand in their life. So anyway, this is Olivia. We used to dance together at one point in time. And so she's here to also get into some stripper life with me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've been to one strip club.
I was going to ask you, have you ever been to a strip club? Miles doesn't drink. Miles doesn't smoke. Miles doesn't.
Never
Do you
have.
gamble?
He's on the straight edge
No.
life.
Yeah.
That's pretty punk.
Yeah. Except I've done steroids. Does that count?
He doesn't even drink diet caffeine sodas.
No, I just don't like them. Like,
Oh,
if I'm
I
going
thought
to
that
drink a
was, like, a
soda,
thing.
let's drink the real one. You know?
That's insane. Anyway,
Do you
have
do
you been?
caffeine?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just don't. I just never have smoked, drank. I never just have.
Okay, have you been to a strip club?
Yeah, once.
Where was it?
In North Carolina, and I wasn't in there for long. Strip club's never been like my thing.
That's so funny because I feel like for some guys, it's their thing. Like, they love a strip club, and some guys are just like, I just don't get the appeal.
I got a homie.
Yeah, who loves a strip club.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, the only time I went, there was a huge fight. Actually, that my homies, can I tell the story? Sorry.
As
Olivia.
quickly as you can.
So basically, I go with 15 people, 7 of us dudes.
That's
8
already
girls.
annoying to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
That's 13 too many people.
Okay. Well, anyways, some dude comes up to my one of my homies' girl and was like, "Hey, I've been looking for you my whole life," and he was drunk. And mind you, there was probably one guy, maybe 2 guys under 6'3". And this guy comes up and was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Hey, chill." And he was like, "I'll fight you for her."
For one of the dancers?
No. For one of my homies' girls, we just got to the.
That's
we
even
just got,
worse.
That's even worse.
So, anyways, I'm I've been in fights. I'm not a fighter. So actually, the guys were in the bathroom and it was just me and this guy and then the girls. So I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna have to beat up this dude. Anyways, his brother came out of the bathroom, heard what happened. The guy went outside and his brother came, knocked him out. Then we had to leave. So yeah, that was my strip club experience.
Literally the worst.
Pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, honestly, I was glad though. So
you've never been back. Anyway, let's do a quick little backstory on you
Okay.
before we jump into questions. Okay, so when did you start dancing?
I started dancing in 2018,
Okay.
and I was 19 years old.
Okay, I started dancing in 2018 too. And you said that you just recently moved back from Atlanta.
Mhm.
Were you dancing in Atlanta?
No, but I
Not at
worked
all.
at a strip club doing shot girl.
Shot girl. Okay.
So
What? Having worked in Richmond and now at a club in Atlanta, what was the
to be
what are
honest,
the vibes?
I think the girls in Richmond are hotter.
what?
Oh my God,
I
thank you so
think that
much.
they're better dancers, and I think that they make more money.
Really
I was happy. I thought I was gonna be super upset to not be dancing.
Yeah.
And working I would be
going back. You almost feel
jealous.
demoted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I felt like I made more consistent money because there's so many girls and they don't
Okay.
care, and it seemed super frustrating to dance there.
Yeah. I've heard that about bigger city club, Miami, Vegas. I mean, Atlanta has a huge strip club.
Isn't
lifestyle.
it the ones there? They're just those ones those, what are those super big names?
Sure, some of the most noteworthy
Magic
strip
City
clubs.
and
Exactly. Yeah, where celebrities are coming, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you have to realize they're 3 or 4 story. I'm thinking about specifically like a friend who danced in Miami. They're like 3 or 4 story strip clubs. You have like 90 girls. Maybe it's not that bad in Atlanta, but
I mean, it was like 75.
That's insane.
And there's not that many customers.
Yeah.
Like there was sometimes the same amount of customers that like would go to a club in Richmond.
yeah.
In a giant club. So it's like, and also
No.
it's way more like socially acceptable. You're like, oh, I'm in Atlanta. I'm going to go to the strip club. These people are not like spending money.
Right.
Like
right.
it's more like we're literally just going to see it.
Yeah.
And
It's like a tourist attraction or just like a bar.
exactly.
Yeah.
And people aren't, they're there to like take their Instagram videos, which they're allowed to do there. And like for clout, and they're not actually participating.
For reference, in Richmond, you can't even like pull your phone out of your pocket when you're in the club.
You all agree with that or disagree?
100% agree.
I agree. In
Yeah.
fact, if I like see someone pull their phone out, I like call security.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll police that.
I will throw it on the ground and stomp on it with my stiletto if you pull your phone out.
You would.
I would. I might have. It's just disrespectful. It's like, you know.
Why though?
Why is it disrespectful?
Yeah.
It's the same reason why we use different names. Like, you don't necessarily want the world to know. Like, you don't know who they follow or like how it could affect you. And I think having it be a closed environment is super. Well, it allows you to have more fun and not be on edge. And it allows the customers who are there to feel more comfortable because
what if they're in the frame?
they're in the video, you know?
Yeah. What if you're sneaking off to go to the strip club on a Thursday night, telling your wife you're at poker, and now all of a sudden you're in the background of somebody's Instagram reel?
Shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree with the privacy aspect and like that whole part. I also like it's a money thing. Like the people in here are paying to see me and you're going to put it on the internet for free? Hell no.
yeah.
No free nudies.
What if it's like, oh shoot, I seen this joint there. She looks so fire. I need to go there now.
No, I can
doubt
promote
that
myself.
I think that's like maybe 0.001%.
Literally zero.
That would happen.
One time.
Get a little closer to the mic.
One time a guy was like, can I take a Snapchat video of you? I want to send it to my homie. And like he would think that you're, and I was like, no, tell him I'm hot and tell him to come in here. I know what you're going to do with that Snapchat video.
Yeah.
Be so for real.
What, jack off?
Or just like send it to all of his friends and like, look at me.
Were you like, was that like a VIP dance?
Yeah. Yeah. That was like one of the, okay, I got a lot of submission. The questions are so funny. Girl questions versus guy questions. And like one of the most over and over guy question I got was what really happens in VIP, which it's different state by state.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's also surprising. People are like, I don't get why you can't be fully nude.
Yeah.
And I'm
Have you
like,
ever danced
well,
at a fully nude club?
Once in Colorado.
Okay. I've never danced at a fully nude club.
But, I mean, it was like one shift.
Yeah.
And I tell them, I'm like, I think there's a huge advantage to it being like full contact over fully nude. Because
Right.
that's when you get like real human touch and like can really connect with someone on a deeper level physically that most people would prefer than just viewing,
Right.
like, basically like porn.
Yeah. Yeah. The fully nude clubs, you can dance on stage fully nude, but nobody's going to touch you because then you're entering a realm of like prostitution. We're very anti-prostitution in the club industry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So for what it's worth, for the guys asking like what really happens in VIP, nobody's doing sexual favors back there. And
Nobody?
Well, it depends on the club.
Yeah.
Like, there's tiers. I know in Atlanta, like girls would be like, these are the clubs where stuff
But you
happened.
can
In
do that.
Miami, and stuff happened, and it just gets a lot more dangerous.
Yeah.
When that happens for the girls.
Yeah.
So.
My thing was like our management, and this is specifically to Richmond clubs. I can talk about some of the other clubs that I worked at. But for Richmond clubs, like management was so strict on it that I was like, do I want to be fired? Like, do I want to be kicked out and not have any more shifts? And I'm going to risk my money for one random guy who like says he's going to give me $200 for shit. Like, no.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow the rules and I'm going to keep my job.
I mean, I was suspended for a week when I like really needed the money because my pasty fell off once. And that's not even like doing anything. So like they're that strict where it's like
They suspended you
for a week. Yeah.
It's not even your fault,
Dude.
That's like Sweat's fault.
I know. But I didn't notice.
But that's how strict they are. They're like, we can't have our club shut down because y'all are trying to be making a couple extra bucks on the side. Like, we have rules and regulations because of ABC laws. And so, yeah, for the guys asking, like, what happens in VIP, like, you're not getting your dick sucked in VIP. Not in the clubs in Richmond that we've worked at. Yeah. Maybe around the country, but
honestly,
I can't speak to that.
Olivia, I just met you. And I'm just playing devil's advocate, okay?
This is his favorite thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like,
if he asks you something offensive, it's not because of him. It's because he just, like, for the sake of asking.
And on top of that, it's like, I respect y'all. You. Yeah. I respect, whatever. And I just feel like there's questions that would be good to ask.
Then ask them.
Yeah.
But they might be like,
it's okay.
Okay. I just want to make sure
we've
because
heard worse
I feel like
Literally.
I feel like you might beat me up. I don't know.
No.
Like I don't know.
And if we don't want to answer it,
I like your jumpsuit, by the way. I didn't mean to say it, but
Thank you.
it's fire.
Or if it's illegal for us to answer it, then we just won't answer it. So
no, like it's like. All right. Well, let me go back. Okay, I just wanted to say that disclaimer.
Okay, good.
So like y'all talked about like the privacy thing. Like, why do y'all care about it being private? Like as far as recording and stuff like that.
I think for me, it's so that I can blend in and out of that life as seamlessly as I want to. If I don't want to be a dancer anymore, there's no trace of it besides the people that I've met and what I've put out there myself. I don't want there to be stuff that I can't control out there.
That's such a good point. That's like such a good answer.
That was beautiful, low-key.
Because we worked with girls who like they were strippers.
Yeah.
Right.
Die hard. You okay over there?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm listening.
You secretly recording us?
No. Yeah. Right. No, I'm putting it on the do not disturb.
They were like career dancers. Like that's what they have been doing since 18. They were some of them like in their 30s. Like that's what they did, right? They're strippers outside of the club. They're strippers in the club. Like that's just what they do. They probably don't care as much about having their personality put on the internet. I'm working like a 9 to 5 in healthcare. Mm-hmm. A lot of the girls are just using it as a stepping stone to something else, and they don't want to be a stripper for the rest of their life. So I don't want some guy taking a picture of me in a G-string and heels and it ending up on the internet forever. I maybe have that's a little hypocritical because my ass cheeks are all over Instagram. But like for what it's worth, I want to be in control of the narrative.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
No,
and privacy. There's some fucking weirdos that come into the club. And I don't want them to somehow be able to like tie me back to my real life.
When you first started doing it, were y'all scared?
No, I was so excited.
I was really excited. I was like sophomore year of high school, like on my school computer being like strip club. Like
of high school?
Being like, I want to do this so bad.
What made you want to do it though? Like what was enticing about it?
I think to me it was confirmation that I was pretty.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of insecurities. I'm like, if I worked at a strip club, like that is what hot girls do.
Right.
And then I will be a hot girl. And it worked.
Yeah.
To be honest, like that's actually exactly what happened.
The validation that comes with it is unreal.
It gave me my confidence. It let me see myself in a different light, and it was honestly exactly what I thought. So
yeah.
So do you think that light like is a good light though? Like I mean, as far as like the type of people that like come in there, I know an average Joe can go in there, but I'm just saying like.
It's really conflicting because at certain points it is like that high, and then you're kind of like in real life and you're like, does anyone actually love me or know me at all and treats me well? No.
Yeah.
That's such a good point.
It's hard. So it's like you have those dark moments.
You're like lusted after, but you don't really feel like fully known.
Yeah. I mean, so that's really tough, and especially when, for me, I think I am myself in the club, but then I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain.
What would you say you're like, how are you not? Like, how would you describe yourself in the club then? Like, or just, you say yourself, how would you describe yourself, like to someone if you can do that?
Silly.
Yeah. Would you say like you're shy?
I think that I can be.
Yeah.
It like depends on the day.
Right. Gotcha.
I feel like you can be whoever you want in the club, and you could be a different person each shift because you're interacting with different people every time.
Yeah.
In fact, that was like one of my favorite parts. I would like give people a different like life story, like every
really?
single night.
So you would lie.
Not
about
every
your
single
story?
night, but yeah, sometimes, because sometimes I needed to be somebody different. Okay, for instance, we just did an episode where we were talking about like our backgrounds and whatever. If I'm trying to relate to somebody from a very different walk of life than me, but I need to relate to them in order to get, a lap dance, I'm gonna tell them whatever story I need to for them to be like, oh, this chick's like,
she gets me.
and you want to be you want them to think that you are attainable, and like I think that's a whole part of the allure of like the strip club is like you're going in, as a guy at least, you're going in and you're talking to these girls that are maybe like out of your league or like you wouldn't normally hit up in like a bar setting, and then when you realize that you have something in common or whatever, it like brings your guard down, and then you're much more likely to like buy a VIP dance, and that's just the whole business of it. So yeah, if I need to tell somebody like, oh my god, you grew up in Colorado? I grew up in Colorado. And they're like, what? And I'm like secretly Googling like cities in Colorado. Like, I would do it. I'd do anything for the bag.
I've honestly never thought, like, I feel like the way that I approach it is making them feel understood and like one of a kind. Yeah. And I think you're doing that in just a different way than I would have like thought to do. But
less honestly.
That's
yeah. But it's reaching the same point of like they come in there and everyone wants to feel understood, and it's such a rare feeling. Yeah. And we provide that. Yeah. And that's why people spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Dang, you're a good like mission. You said the privacy thing good. You just like that was a good like mission statement right there. That was fire. Like
she's writing the bios for all the Richmond clubs
like,
from now
dang,
on.
That was in the wall when you first walk in. Like that
they need to put that on the side of the building. We just want to make you feel understood and heard.
That made me almost want to go up in there today. Like I ain't gonna lie. Like hold on. No, that's fire. I mean,
but it's true. What percentage of guys that come in would you say are there for like the party aspect, and what percentage of guys are there for like the therapy?
Depends on the day.
They just want you to listen.
Weekdays, 90-10 therapy.
Yeah.
Weekends, 50-50.
Yeah.
Is there a type of guy? Can you like? Is there like a usual? I know like weekday guys. Like, is there a type of guy like when they walk in, you're like, oh yeah, I know what type of time this is.
It can catch you by surprise, and that's one of my favorite opening questions. To really kind of gauge where they're at is like, okay, this is my first time meeting you. What's something just by looking at you that I would never guess?
That's such a good. God,
so y'all got like big homies, or like y'all got like people that train you? Does the manager teach you these things, or y'all just like?
No, this is one of the questions that I got so much from women was like, what was your first time walking into the club and like interviewing or like signing an application? Like, did you have to do like an audition? Like, they wanted us to talk about that.
Okay.
Because it seems so far-fetched to, I think, a lot of girls that are like, what? Like, I could never even walk it, but you just go in. So, yeah. Okay.
So I was in like a really tough place when I started dancing, which I think is common. And I had a dream that I was a dancer. Because I think like I followed this girl on Instagram that danced. And like she was in the dream and she was like, I have so much fun. And like I woke up and I was like, I'm going to do it. Yeah. Like today's today. So I called and I was like, what do I need? And they told me like everything to bring. And so I go to the store to get it. And then I go into audition.
And what are the things that you needed? I know people are going to be like,
heels, they have to be at least 6 inches minimum. Pasties, a regulation thong, which is kind of like a Brazilian like micro bikini swimsuit bottom.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to explain. It's also really hard to find.
They're shaped a certain way because they have to cover based on the laws, the ABC laws.
Mm-hmm. And then...
And pasties, your nipples have to be covered.
Yeah. And they
got different sizes of pasties?
No, you cut. This is actually interesting. So you get like a sheet and you cut like to your size.
Yeah. No way.
Custom every night.
Yeah.
You imagine your like circles all messed up.
No, it was.
It didn't matter. Mine are like it's never been a real circle.
Yeah.
Like, cause I use like the corners.
Exactly.
And it's like sometimes I put a couple together.
Yeah.
When I'm desperate. Like it's.
Or you would like find like a couple of like snaggle pieces in the bottom of your bag and be like, this'll do.
You'll have like a weird angle.
Yeah.
Like
you'd forget a sheet of pasties and you'd be like putting together band-aids somehow. Like, yeah.
Okay, wait. All right. So you call, you get the stuff.
Okay,
then what happens?
So then I go in during like a day shift, and it's my first time ever in a strip club, and I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is like real.
Yeah.
And everyone is so pretty. You're like, oh, I'm in the wrong, wrong spot. But it's also just like people are dressed up. They're in their heels. Like you look like otherworldly.
Yeah.
When you're at the club. And so I go downstairs and like I like was obsessed with like reading the blogs and being like what to expect.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you don't want to do something and not know what to expect. And it was like, girls are mean. This is what's gonna happen. And they were like, oh, have you ever like done the pasties before? I'll show you. Like they were so nice, and they're like, are your boobs real? They're so perfect, and like they were so nice to me. And I just like did a spin on the stage. I've gone to other auditions where like they're like dance but don't use the pole, or like there's always weird rules at auditions. But in Richmond, there's like do whatever you want, do a song.
Wait.
Yeah.
I got two questions. One, like when you go in for this like interview, or like
nobody interviewed us. Nobody was like, please tell us about your 5-year plan and your career aspirations, and do you have any references? It wasn't like that.
No.
All right, so you audition. You go in and audition.
Yes.
And you've never done it before, and you tell them that. So like,
yeah.
Like,
and they're like,
do
you're
you
fine.
put your favorite song on? Like,
no, you. Well, I mean.
Here, play
we had
song.
YouTube at the time that I started at. We could play a song, but they just put on whatever.
Okay.
And I actually don't think that I even did it to a song. Like we went into like the back room where the club that I was at had a stage in like the back room, and so they just like you just did a little thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's day shift.
So what's the point of them doing that?
To make sure that
see your body.
To see your body.
See your stage presence. I don't know.
And just make sure you're willing to like if you do some, I mean, honestly, it's probably just to make sure you don't do some weird shit.
Is it a guy or a girl like doing it?
I've auditioned for multiple, yeah.
Is it just, sorry. Do the owners or whatever, do they try to like get with the dancers a lot?
It obviously varies for every club. I was just talking to my friends the other day. They're like, oh, I bet every guy manager is such a creep. And I'm like, they're so sick of us. They're like, so sick of us.
Think Big Brother energy. They're like
they're so annoyed. Yeah, they do not want to deal with us outside of work.
They couldn't hate us more. I've had 2 guy managers in my career, and they both like hated me because they're like, I'm sick of your excuses for being late. I'm sick of your excuses for calling out.
Real.
Please get out of the dressing room. Please don't spill that. Why are you eating mozzarella sticks on stage?
Don't drink anymore.
Please stop drinking. Get out of the bathroom. You've been on TikTok for 45 minutes. Like, they're like corralling tiny children. They don't want to fuck us.
No.
Did you know that there was a day shift at the strip club, like when you first went?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like, unless you're dancing at one of the clubs that she was talking about with like the 75 girl situation, if you're at like a home club, I feel like it's pretty standard for everyone to start on day shift.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of money in night shift, right? Like, there's a lot of money anywhere. You have to know how to like play it right. But you're not just going to walk in as a baby stripper and get a Friday night shift.
So you didn't know your clientele, though? Like, you didn't, like, I mean, like, when they came in, you weren't like, oh, I can, you know what I mean? Like, I can tell, like, you know, like a car salesman, like, you know, I think.
I'll let you answer this, too, but that is one of my favorite things is, like, you could have this guy walk in who literally looks like he's homeless. Like, you're like, oh, my God, he smells bad and he's homeless. And he will end up spending $30,000 by the end of the night. Or you can have these assholes that walk in with like their Rolex and their suits, and they don't tip you a single fucking dollar
to pay for girls. Yeah. I can get them. I'm like, well, then why are you here?
They say that?
Yes, all the time.
But wait, how does that come out? How does that like? When
they literally say exactly that.
Before, like, do you say like, are you gonna throw anything? Like, are you like?
I mean, sometimes, or they're just like, well, yeah. Honestly, it probably is after a prompt.
Sometimes they just open with that because they're so like insecure that you go to sit next to them and they're like, I'm not getting a dance, sweetie. Like, I don't need to pay for girls. And you're like, okay, bud, why are you here?
Okay, so
why'd you pay a cover? Go to a fucking bar like everybody else.
So y'all have to like kind of go in when y'all are there. Like, this is what I think of a strip club. I only went to the one, and literally like it was all like eyes on this like incident that happened. I didn't even like pay attention. Like, when I think of a strip club besides Grand Theft Auto, like, I think, like, you go in and, like, everyone sits around this one, like, bar, like, pole, and then, like, the one person's dancing, and then, like, y'all switch. That's what I think of. And then there's, like, bartenders that walk around. Like, that's what I kind of, like, thought about.
Base level, the aesthetic. I mean, that's...
Okay.
Yeah.
So when y'all say, like, when you go talk to these people... What is that situation? Because I'm kind of like, wait, what? Like,
so when a guy sits down, within like 5 minutes, we'll be like, "Are you sitting with anyone?" And then that's like,
I'm like having like war flashbacks.
Yeah. And then that's when you figure out like why they're there, what they are looking for in your own way. However, the girl decides to do that. Like, you're gathering information to see if you can make the sale or not.
So it is sales, basically.
100% sales.
Wow.
We're just selling ourselves as the product.
How do y'all feel about that, though? Like, okay, you still dance, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about someone that feels as if you are doing, like, almost like shameful work? Or... like degrading work, or what else? What other words would they say? Like, you know, like, how do you feel? Like, you say, oh, you want separate and things like that. So when you like do it, do you ever feel like you are doing that? Like, do you ever feel like the stigma of these people that are coming in are thinking that, or no?
Not when I'm at the club at all, because it's like my turf.
Yeah.
And okay, you see me there, I see you there. Guess who's the one getting paid right now?
Yeah. Outside though, like, do you like if someone's like, "Oh, what do you do?" Like,
it's a tough question.
Yeah,
it's really tough because on one hand, I'm super proud of being a dancer, and I think it's an awesome job, and I think that I'm really good at it.
Yeah,
and it's made me who I am, and a lot of the good parts about me are because of it. And it's hard to explain that to someone by just saying that you dance.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more that is attached to that statement that it's a whole conversation.
Yeah.
So it's choosing in that moment whether to just answer or like kind of avoid the question because you don't want to react to what their reaction is.
So, but your initial thought is like they're gonna like if you're telling random, you're like they're probably gonna think like badly about it.
Not always. It depends on the vibe. Like I'm not gonna go and tell my mom's friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but if I'm at a party and it's people my age, or if I'm at any like gay event, like or like anywhere where I feel comfortable, then 100% I'll tell people.
So, okay.
Depends on who's asking it.
I want to backtrack. You get the job. What is that first conversation with your friends or family or both? You know,
when I started, I didn't really have any either.
Well, you said mom, and I didn't know if like you know.
My parents don't know.
Okay.
I mean, or they don't
care or want to know.
Or, like, tell me that they do.
Yeah.
It's probably just,
it's like an unspoken thing.
I honestly don't know.
They're like, ignorance is bliss.
Maybe. Yeah. Like, I have no clue.
They got Instagram?
Know or not. Yeah, but they're blocked.
They're gonna find out about this podcast.
No way. And if they do, like, I just feel like at this point, it's like,
yeah.
Oh, well.
No, wait. All right. They find out Wednesday. Oh, I can't ring because my voice is. I wanted to joke and call you Hannah. Sorry. Olivia.
That wasn't her answer name anyway.
All right. Hannah, what is this I see on the internet of you being a stripper? What is like your first?
Would they be angry?
No.
Or you didn't tell me.
First of all, they're so not confrontational, and I think that they walk on eggshells because they don't, like, we just don't have honest conversations.
Yeah.
Like, and this is going like a little bit deeper, but like my mom would never be like, "Oh my gosh, you danced, you didn't tell me." Like, she would be like thinking.
Do you think they wonder where your money comes from?
For sure.
Yeah.
For
and
sure.
you don't tell them, like, they don't say, "Oh, you got to work tomorrow." Wait.
No, they do. So my brother, like, accidentally, and my little brother knows, but we don't talk about it. But like, it's fine that he knows.
How did he find out? Instagram?
I guess I told him. I honestly don't know.
Are tight like that?
The other day he was like, not the other day, like a couple months ago, he's like, "Are you doing what you used to do?
Are you doing that thing that you did for that job?"
Yeah, it was literally like that. And I was like, "What did I say I did for the job?"
I can't remember what I told
and
you.
I was like, "Yeah."
How does he feel about it?
I mean, I haven't asked him.
It's not his business.
Okay, wait. I got a lot of questions. All right, sorry.
Christmas is coming up.
But
She's getting him a great gift. He didn't care.
He's getting a Switch.
How old is he, if you don't mind me asking?
He's 24.
Okay.
If and the first week I started dancing, I was like, "We're going to the mall."
Yeah.
He was like 16.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like we're going. We're spending.
I'm trying to do math right now. Wait. Okay. So.
Yeah. I mean, if my mom wanted to have an honest conversation about it, I would love that. I just don't think that she ever would.
Yeah. Why in that dynamic, I know this isn't exactly about, but like, why don't you think your parents or your mom have those type of conversations with you? Like, is that just a, like.
I think they can't even have honest conversations with themselves. I think.
Are they together?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a weird dynamic growing up for you?
Yes.
Okay.
You were in eggshell house?
What does that mean?
Where everybody just kind of like stayed to themselves and like nobody talked about anything and there wasn't like a lot of emotions shared.
It was a lot of emotions, but like the kids couldn't really have the emotions.
Gotcha.
Type of thing.
Gotcha.
So it was more like regulating how they're feeling, sort of
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And like hoping not to get like downwind
Yeah.
of whatever's going on that day. So I guess like I would hide like in the closet if I like felt the tension, so like someone wouldn't like come in.
Aww.
You know, like that kind of thing.
I'm big on the like parent stuff. Do you think that like played a factor in your insecurities on you thinking if you were like attractive or
Absolutely. When I got a therapist when I was like 17 for like something that like the school brought up, so like I had to go.
Yeah,
Otherwise
you're
my
like,
parents
I
would not
gotta
have
go.
like done that. But the therapist was like, your mom doesn't have like the 3 E's. I'm trying to remember. It was like empathy, like empowerment, and esteem. And if she doesn't have those, she can't give them to you. And so those 3 things I was lacking. And instead of working on like repairing my mom and I's relationship, she was like, let's figure out a way for you to deal with not being able to get those
Accept it.
from your household.
Yeah. And where are you going to get them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because the 3 E's are like what we need in terms of like our own individual like survival, but like emotionally.
Mhm.
And so we're going to find them somehow. It depends on how you're going to find them.
Exactly.
do you think you're that way at all now?
For sure.
Yeah.
Wait, what way?
Like, do you think you lack in those, in maybe not in those categories, but like, do you think you do kind of things like your parent, like your mom or your parents did?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that I have worked really hard to treat people differently
Yeah.
and take good care of myself. And even though it's like an ongoing battling like super hard, I think that I'm in a much better place, and I think I'm doing a lot better than I thought that I would.
Yeah. Are you excuse me? Are you resentful at all?
For sure.
Yeah. So do you have a relationship?
We do right now.
Is it off and on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's off and on.
It's like situational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. I mean, like
that got deep really quick.
Yeah. No, sorry. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I mean, do you ever like want to have like conversation with them about it, or because of like?
I would love to.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was so great about dancing is that I felt so alone, and a lot of bad stuff happened to me, like as a child, that my parents still don't know.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like I would get that empathy, and you know, by telling them I didn't think it would help me, I thought it would hurt me, to like reveal these like pretty bad stuff that happened. And then when I started dancing, other girls had gone through the same thing and were dealing with the same issues. And I had a community of people that were like me who were trying to get better as well. And it was super special to not feel as alone and be like, you are also struggling with your relationship with your mom, and you've also been through these really tough things. And now I was around people who were like me. So it was really cool.
So,
the number of times people have made jokes about like daddy issues, and like, it's mommy issues.
Oh, really?
I feel like most of the girls that I danced with, I don't know if you can attest to this, but like all of us had some kind of complicated relationship with our mom.
For sure. The amount of times where like a girl would get a text from her mom and she's like crying in the bathroom, or like, oh my gosh, I had never really thought about that. But you're so right. It's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But
like I mean I can think right now off the top of my head 3 dancers who like
I can think
really
of like
struggled.
5.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so that's such a like funny like I don't know, stereotype, like, oh, daddy issues. I have such a great dad.
Why do you think it leads there though? Like like what about dancing do y'all think that with those kind of like statistical almost like things, like how come you think it leads y'all to dancing? Because like, all right, let's be real. I mean, I'm not saying I think so or y'all think so, but I would argue that a lot of guys would say that they are like, they wouldn't want to date a stripper. They wouldn't date a porn star. They wouldn't want to date anyone in that kind of realm.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say it like I'm shaming at all. You know, again,
okay.
I am playing, you know. But what makes y'all think that it takes you there when we know that as a society, as a big chunk of it, frowns upon it? Or have you thought about that?
I think there's like a couple different factors. I think for me, when I first started, it wasn't that I was really trying to make my life better. It was that I didn't really care. And I was like, let me just make it easier. And then dancing isn't really that much easier. But then when I found it, I started to believe in myself. And so it becomes kind of this like almost addiction where you get the satisfaction of making money. You're like, I can support myself. People are telling me that I am worthy. And I'm around people who are similar to me. And at the same time, you're also dealing with the same probably like issues that you did at home as a kid, of like people being mean, or whether like you're dealing with a certain type of abuse, like, because dancing is really hard. So you're getting that, and you have a little bit more control as well. Yeah. So it almost like isn't really a problem to be treated poorly in that sense, because that adds to your sense of empowerment, at least for me.
Yeah. I think you nailed it a couple questions ago when you said like you're on your turf. I've never felt so confident and so in control than when I was at work, because like people came there to see you. Yeah. Like you are the sought after thing there. Sorry. Even if some guy says some degrading comment, which was few and far between, honestly, in my experience. Yeah. I'm like, you came here, dude.
There's a lot where you're just like.
Yeah. But I did. I felt so powerful and so in control, and so like, if you make one misstep,
Mm-hmm.
like there's 5 bouncers that are about to,
Out.
like I just felt
you're
protected,
the top dog in
powerful.
there.
Yeah, you do. Like you feel very in control.
And I didn't feel that growing up. I didn't really feel that in my personal life.
Yeah.
It was like I went to this place where I was who I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you can't necessarily always have those same traits that you do in the club outside, you
Yeah.
still get a little taste for it of of what's inside.
And you made a comment earlier too about like being insecure, like growing up looks wise and stuff like that. The highly sought after girl in like high school, I think that for me at least was like a big validating part of
For
like
sure.
pretty much every single guy in here thinks that I'm hot, and maybe
Yeah.
that was like, I don't know, maybe that was curing some part of like high school Kinley's, like, you know.
Yeah.
All right, I got a fun question.
Okay.
What's the most money you've made in one night?
5K.
Oh, now she's probably got like 6,000. You know, she got.
No,
What
I
up?
think it was like a little over 8K.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
All right, what did you do with that money?
I saved it all.
Yeah. I invested most of mine.
That's great. That's awesome.
I've lost it now. I spent it all on the guy.
Oh my
God.
gosh. Okay. All right. You don't mind speaking about your Atlanta relationship?
Sure.
And I have some dating questions in general.
All right.
It's been tough.
Did this person meet you in the club?
No.
Okay. And then when did they find out that you were dancing?
Okay, so on Tinder, I told them I was like an accountant. Wink, wink. Because that was like the lingo then.
I'm an accountant.
Like in 2020, like
Right.
that's like was a popular slang
Yeah.
term for like
there were memes about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I thought that they knew.
Yeah. Oh no, this guy really thought you were an accountant.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like we hung
He was
out.
like, you got your CPA.
We hung out during the day, and he's like, I feel like you're not an accountant. I was like, I'm not.
You don't give accountant
I was
energy.
like-
He's like, why aren't you at your office?
and he's like, so. I was like, yeah, like I dance. Like
Yeah.
And he was mad.
he wasn't mad. He was just confused.
Yeah, I was just like, wait.
He was just
but I
like
thought you were-
he had to think about it.
He was like, are you doing the accounting for the club? Like,
like,
he's like so confused.
and so I was like, I didn't mean to like hide. Like I wasn't trying to hide it in this situation. It was just like I think it was like our third date or
Yeah.
something. We were like getting lunch like after going to the river all day. Like literally, I don't have an office job. So
That's funny. But he
Yeah.
wasn't mad, but he didn't want you to keep dancing.
like eventually, and I
Yeah.
think it's just because we got like more in love, and like he wanted better for his life, I wanted better for my life, and like at a certain point you have to stop if you want to stop.
Well-
Like if you want to stop, you have to stop at some point.
Why do you say better though? Because that's like a question that's in my head is like, so you're saying like, if you dance, you don't want better for yourself? Is that like
That's
what
not
you're
really what
implying?
I'm saying, and I probably misspoke
Yeah.
when saying better life. Probably different.
Okay.
Life.
I think that for me, and this probably like contradicts, and then, like this is probably what people on the internet are gonna be like. This is what's wrong with women, because like I want a
We
family.
can't wait for that.
Like I want a family, and I prioritize love over most everything in my life.
Right.
And it's taken me a long time to like get to it like a healed point where I feel like that's possible for me.
Yeah.
And dancing helped me to get to that point, but also I love dancing. So it's complicated to want both at the same time, and I think in his situation, and just cuz I'm not going to say like what he did, but like he had a job that he was wanting to change as well. So it was a trade.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know that better life is super wrong, because like I worked with girls who were 30 and married and had 2 kids, and I was like, how the F are you doing that? Because like all things aside, it's so tough on your body. The
Yeah.
late nights of like, there were nights where I didn't walk out of there until 5-6 o'clock in the morning, and then you're going home to your kid, like your kids waking up at 7 a.m. Like that's.
Oh yeah, and they're like, we take them to the school bus, and then I go home. I'm like,
yeah.
How?
So
Why are you doing that, girl? Oh my gosh.
I mean, better life is subjective, but that lifestyle is very, very hard to like sustain.
Yeah. And I also think the reason I say that is because it is like the love for me that I get there is more of a fantasy.
Yeah.
And I want something genuine, and I want to feel the same way that I do in the club outside of the club. That's the end goal.
Yeah.
I want to have that same confidence and that same esteem and that same feeling that I get in the club outside.
Do you think that's like realistic? Not saying like.
I'm like, no, there's no confidence like being in
like
8-inch heels naked and everybody throwing money at you. That doesn't exist outside of the club.
Yeah.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like, is that feeling you get a realistic feeling? And not saying like for you compared to the next person. I'm saying like, is that feeling? Is that is that a realistic feeling within a actual relationship?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
I think if I was making the same amount of money that I was dancing, I would have been fine.
Yeah.
I think that's honestly what it came down to. I think I was, for the most part, fulfilled. It's just hard. There's a lot of factors.
Yeah.
Miles, from a guy perspective, and I know, I mean, this is going to be really hard for you to answer because I think that you are very traditional, and I know the answer to your question, but is there any part of your male brain that could be in a relationship with a dancer knowing that it's just a job and that they are making a lot of money for like the future of the two of you? Or would your male brain just supersede all of that and be like, I can't have my girlfriend dancing on other guys?
Well, see, like the thing for me is like, I don't care. I think we talked about it on one of the last episodes.
I think it was the poly episode.
No, I think it was the internal.
Oh.
Like where I would meet you would also dictate. Like if I met you on like Tinder, right? And then we're kicking it off. You're great. You carry yourself a great way and everything seems like you're a good person. Everything.
Yeah.
Then I personally wouldn't care. I mean, and that's my honest feeling. Like, that's what you do. You're a great person. It has nothing to do with, like, am I going to sit there and be like, oh, that's great? I'm not going to lie. Like, no.
Right.
But like,
and kind of what she said, like, I would like to work towards a different life.
Yeah.
But I understand why you're doing it right now.
But it's like, I can't, if I'm dating you, I can't change you. Like, that's what you do. That's what your thing is. That's what you've always done. And I think you're a great person.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't sit there and be like, oh, wait a second, you do that? But like, I mean, no, I think I could.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be my initial.
You don't love it.
It wouldn't be my initial choice, to be quite honest.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's also tough. Like, there were things that would happen in the club that were maybe negative, and I didn't feel comfortable telling my partner because it would make them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or it, like, reiterates, like, why they don't want you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because also, too, you got to think about, even with the poly relationships, it's not just me and that person's relationship. Everyone outside of that is going to also, like, inflict or whatever onto your relationship.
Yeah.
And that is where the social pressures of everything else, of why, if I'm being very honest, why I would feel that way.
Yeah.
Not because of your job.
Yeah. I wasn't really seeking out. I was at a point in my life during dancing where I wasn't really looking for any kind of relationship, but I did have a yeah, I mean, I'm not looking for a relationship now, but I'm just here to have a lot of kids. But I had a really hard time dating because I felt like you either had guys who like fetishized it, like they were like, "Oh, I'm like dating a stripper," and it was like that was my whole personality to them. Or they were super against it, and I was like, well, I'm not going to stop, so I don't really know what to tell you. And it was just few and far between that you would find somebody neutral and mature enough that would be like, I don't love it. I am a normal enough person to not necessarily want my girlfriend, like,
'Cause also, you
dancing
don't
on
want
dudes.
them to
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you don't want them to want you to be a dancer.
Exactly.
But you also don't want them to like not want you to be a dancer.
Yeah.
So
It's almost like
it's
being
hard.
famous. It sounds like.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
I very casually dated a guy during those years, and it was like everything was stripper this, stripper that. Like he'd be like, "Oh, like are these your stripper shoes? Oh, is this stripper money?" And it was just like
ew.
it was so fetishized that I was just like,
Oh, he liked it. He was liking it.
he was, I think, too much liking it. Like he'd be like, "Oh, like send me a picture when you go to work tonight," and it was just like, I don't ask you for a picture from your job. Like
It's kind of like being famous for real. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Because it's like you don't know if you're with me because I'm famous, but then if you're settling down, like I'm on tour right now, like no, like I gotta do this. You're mad that I'm not home at night. Like no, this is what I do. But do you really like me because I'm famous, like because I'm me, or do you like me because I'm famous?
Right. Have you ever dated a guy that you met in the club?
No.
Yeah, me either.
Ever seen a
I
guy?
can't even imagine.
And I think that's like not every. I think that a lot of guys that would come in there legit thought that like they were gonna. They'd be like, "Do you want to go get like lunch tomorrow?" And I'd be like,
No.
I'm not here to find my boyfriend in the club."
So you're never like, oh, this guy came in like, dang, I low key, he's kind of, whatever.
No, for
Literally,
sure.
I mean,
She's
the problem is that I'm instantly like disgusted by them.
That's crazy.
The job did make me pretty like anti-men,
Like,
if I wasn't already before.
I mean, just in the club, like if
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, I don't see you as like an actual guy.
Yeah.
Like you're like a little, like you're like a.
You're a sale.
Yeah, like I don't really know what to say.
No,
like a
that's-
figment of
like-
this weird fever dream that
Well,
we're
are you-
in.
The fact that you exist outside of the club like is not a reality for me.
Yeah.
But are you like judging the guys that come in? Be honest. Like, are y'all like, these guys are in here?
Well, no, I'm not gonna judge them for coming into the club and spending money. I try to find something that I truly like about the person that I'm talking to, so that I'm being genuine.
Can you
And
do
I
that
think
every time?
And I think I can really love and appreciate people in that club environment genuinely, and still would never ever see them outside of the club.
I don't think people realize how much of that job was psychological, like talking to people, the therapy aspect. Like,
98.
I literally don't think people understand that.
The sales.
It's the
Sales
sales,
is literally
but,
all
like,
your mouthpiece.
Well, I mean, what you're selling is the psychological aspect.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Because you
So-
have the 2% Friday and Saturday night crowd who comes in for like their bachelor party or comes in for like whatever. You have that. But the whole rest of it is like men who want to come in and vent about their marriages, men who have been hurt by have some bad experience with a woman. Like, so much of it is just the like listening, the talking, the relating, the like them feeling this intimate connection with somebody that they aren't getting at home.
I had someone come in the other night who was like, my dad died today and I just don't know where else to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just like don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you came to the right place.
Yeah.
Like, let me give you a hug.
Yeah.
Like, and you can be that person for someone. And like also, I mean, some guys come in and they want to talk about how great their daughter's doing.
Yes. Yeah.
And like they just want to talk to someone, and the money is like not an object.
yeah.
And we're really good at talking to people.
Yeah. And listening. A
That's
lot of men are
scary.
just not being like heard in their family dynamics, their romantic relationships, just anything. Or they're just super lonely and they haven't. A lot of people like that we would have were like socially awkward, and they
Yeah.
come into a place where they know 100% they are not going to be rejected.
And they know like there's rules, and I
Yeah.
think when you date outside the club or you try to talk to women outside the club, there's so many different factors, where here it's like,
Yeah.
if I spend this amount of money, she will want to talk to me.
Yeah.
And the rules are clear, the expectations are clear. They can have this very solid relationship that's understood both ways, and that's almost impossible to have out in the real world.
It is. It's transactional, but like when you're in that environment, it doesn't necessarily. You all know what's on the table. We all know what we're both doing there, and so it just takes away that whole part
Question.
of it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it was some part of it was guys who like maybe wouldn't go to a bar and chat up a girl, but if they come into the strip club, they know 100% a girl is going to approach them, and it takes away that like anxiety for them.
Yeah.
But do you see a flaw in that?
No, because that's
the job.
That's just their and that's their.
I think that's a huge perk of having these strip clubs available, is having that someone who might be so lonely and having a service that provides something to counteract that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, she got to be the COO or
Why
something.
are you not in like the like marketing department?
Like,
of
I
the
swear,
clubs
like,
instead
you
of
make,
the dancing?
like, being honest, like, I'm not even trying to boost right now. The way you just like have been saying these mission statements is really like shape shifting. Because I'm not gonna lie, I have a kind of skewed mindset on strip club. Like I said, I've never gone into it. I felt kind of like weird to like watch a girl like dance or like, I don't know. It's like I kind of just had like I wouldn't say mine's a normal guy kind of thing. It's kind of just for me. It's like, yeah, okay, honest. I just like, I'm scared because I don't want to be rude. It's like, why do I go in here to look at these girls dance like half naked or whatever? And it's like, I know they're doing it for money, so it's transactional.
Right.
Like, to me, it just felt like wrong personally to do so, because in a way it's like I'm sexualizing this woman and she's still a woman, and like I would rather just talk to someone outside, or like even on the, as far as like dancing or whatever. It's like, I don't know. It just has always felt wrong to me.
Okay, and
personally.
like also I think that's another misconception, is that we're like so exploited, and like and not to take away from like the sex trafficking industry. Like, I know that there's definitely a corner of this industry where like girls maybe don't want to be doing it, but from my own personal experience, it was the most empowering thing that I've ever done. And so for you to be like, why am I like sexualizing this girl up there? Like, it was the best thing that I've ever done for myself.
I think a part of our job is to make you feel not like that.
I'm just weak because she's about to say some fire lie.
No,
Like
that's true.
When guys come in there and you're like, I have to go on stage.
Yeah.
But I want to show off for you. Is that okay? Like,
Yep.
It's making them feel like you're doing it for them, because you want to do it for them.
Right.
Miles, for what it's worth, you would be like our favorite customer, because you come in there with that preconceived notion, and then you would be the first one to like fall in love
You'd
with.
be like, wait, she's actually low key cool though.
We'd be hearing you walk out in the hallway to your friend, like,
like,
yeah,
no, she
like,
actually fucks with me.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, like she really likes me.
And we'd be like, yeah.
We have met those guys that come in with their friends, and they're like, like they're just strippers.
Oh, it's so easy. You go. I can tell you don't want to be here. You're not like
you're not like those
you're
other
not
guys.
A strip club guy. Like, I'm so out. This is what I would do. I would be like, I'm just so bored tonight. I honestly can't talk to any of these like losers. Can I just sit here?
You seem just like normal, and like you don't even really like this kind of environment.
Like, I'm not like those other guys. I am cool. Obviously, she would want to just sit here with me because she's having a bad night. Like,
Miles, I don't think you realize how good some of us were at this job.
Oh, I believe it.
And then they get curious. You sit there with them. They don't want to be there. You're like, I don't want to. I just have to put in my hours. And they're like, well, so how does this whole thing work anyways?
So I'm probably not going to, but I was just wondering, like, what are the lap dance prices? I wouldn't, but I'm just curious.
You're like, well, I'm feeling kind of lazy tonight, but like, I mean, you seem really cool.
You would be the first one to fall for it. You would be the first one to fall for it.
I don't think so.
And you know what? That is the most satisfying. That, like, I feel like I have won some kind of trophy when I get the guy who came in being like, I don't do dances.
They're like, and you're like, oh. So when are we gonna hang out outside?
And that goes back to me like lying about like making up a different life story, because if you were thinking I'm just some stripper hoe, and then all of a sudden I'm like,
I'm not thinking you're a hoe.
Oh, I played basketball and you're like, wait, you're like a normal person, like,
oh yeah,
oh, and then you're chatting it up, and you're like, I listen to this music. And you're like, I love that music. And I'm like, I hate that music. But we found something to like connect on. She's exactly right.
I mean, look,
mind fuck.
There's something.
Mind fuck.
There's a way to get them all.
I mean, no, it's all about mouthpiece. I mean, it goes the same way, other way around too. But most guys can't do that. But
do you feel like the nature of what we did was manipulative?
It 100% is.
Wasn't asking you.
It is.
No.
Okay.
I don't think it's manipulative, and I will tell you why.
Okay, tell me.
It's because they're choosing to come in there. They're looking for a service. We're not manipulating them. We're providing them the service that they're asking for.
You know what? Honestly, no, that's fire. You know what?
I know.
No, because even with coaching online, like I know how to, again, do the same thing to close the sale.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I still feel like, but to what she just said, it's like, no, they want help.
They are seeking
and that's why they're here.
Yes.
So like, no, you're just actually pushing them further to get what they want.
Yeah.
But
Miles, you look like you have a question, and I'm also gonna pull up my list because I just want to make sure that we get some of these. Like,
I look like I have a question. What does that mean?
I feel like you've been wanting to ask something.
No, I've been trying to just like find where the line is. No, but I would think y'all are cool off rip. I would think. Dang. No, I don't know.
Have you ever fallen?
Oh my God. So 2 weeks ago, I fell off of the stage down the stairs because I was on FaceTime with my friend because I was so dead and I missed a step. And I got a bruise. I swear to God, people thought I got a butt tattoo from a distance because it was so black and it was literally this big. And it was like I came in last night after I went on vacation for 10 days and the girls were like, we were worried that something was going on at home. Like,
oh
glad to see the bruise is gone. I mean, it's embarrassing to have like a bruise that big on stage and dancing. So yeah, I've fallen all the time actually. That's like the worst fall that I've had. But I've fallen like just on the carpet.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever fallen on stage. But I've like my ankle has rolled on the carpet 150 times. And your ankle rolls and you're basically on stilts. And so like all of a sudden you're like on the ground.
Y'all have like the aspirations to be like super poppin'.
What does that mean?
I'm sorry. Ask the question again.
Like
just like in my life? Yeah, I'd love
like,
to be
you
poppin'.
know, like almost like a famous like stripper.
No,
I don't have that aspiration.
Don't have it at all.
No.
So, okay. What about like kids? Sorry.
Okay.
What about like kids? Like, all right, you're still stripping. You have a kid, like boom, 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 and the people that have kids and do it, like, do you care if your kids find out? Like,
that was one of the questions. Would you want your daughter to do this?
Oh my gosh, I've like tossed and turned about this because it's so hard because at one point I would want them to know that part of me and I would definitely tell them, but I wouldn't want. I think that the reason that I danced is because I lacked all these things that I think I can provide for my daughter if I would have to have one.
That's a good answer.
So,
like you wouldn't judge her for doing it, but you would hope that you as a parent have never put her in a position where she's seeking that kind of validation.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wouldn't care if my daughter did it, but I also feel the same way. Mm-hmm. And mine is more from a financial reason. I would hope that I have given you the
resources. Yeah,
or just the ability. Yeah.
Well, why? There's good money.
I know, and that's what I mean. If she came to me and was like, I'm going to do this through college or not college, not that you have to do it through college, but if she was like, I'm going to do this to make this amount of money. And I also just think that you need to know what you're getting into. You need to be strong enough to do it mentally. And if I felt like she really, possessed those traits, I would be like, you're an adult, do what you want to do. Mm-hmm. I just think that there is so much that you need to be prepared for and you need to be smart about. And if you aren't, I would be like, you're not
life-changing decision.
You don't want this life.
And it also is like you have to deal with so much with dancing that you don't expect that adds to your trauma.
Yeah.
That I feel like when people ask me like, oh, I want to dance, it seems so fun. I'm like, well, you kind of have to have a little secret ingredient, which is having something like worse happen to you so you can deal with this stuff.
Yeah.
In most scenarios, otherwise it's just going to be so traumatizing and so hard and so challenging, and you can do it, but it's not always like the party lifestyle.
Yep. This is
that people assume.
Something that I noticed was you could tell very distinctly the girls who had worked through some of their issues, especially by like 2 a.m. If you were sloppy, super drunk, falling down and slurring your words.
That was me.
In the beginning.
Well, no, because I started at 19, but as soon as I hit 21.
Yeah. And that was kind of me in the beginning because I hadn't worked through what I needed to, and so it was bringing out a lot of exactly what you said. You were just like nailing it. It was bringing out some like triggers that I didn't realize I had.
Exactly.
And I was coping with the party aspect. But then after a while, you get to a point where you're like, this is my job. I really didn't drink that much on the job anymore.
Yeah.
I was taking it really seriously, and I also had worked through what I needed to, like,
exactly,
or was working. I continue to work through it, but the things that were happening at work were no longer as triggering and traumatic. But you can tell by the girls who are just like so sloppy that you're like, you weren't quite ready for this.
Yeah.
So do you think you kind of gotta be a little, like you
fucked
said,
up?
Yeah, almost to do it. Like, do you think the majority? Like,
I think it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Which is like weird to say. But I think it's really hard to be touched by strangers
without having something
something fucked up happen to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay. Yeah. Like,
and
if you're
being
privileged,
treated like an object, and
yeah.
like, I mean, just the job itself, like having these deep conversations and having people ask you really deep things about yourself, and having these really emotional nights with people that you're never going to see again. I think all of this stuff can be super, super hard.
Yeah.
And it is, no matter what you've been through. But if you are coming and just wanting the money and just wanting the attention, I think all that stuff is going to be shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think we all have to be a little bit fucked up to do it. I don't think I know a single dancer who like
had cookie cutter.
Exactly. Or maybe cookie cutter is the wrong, but like just a very healthy, I think you have to have something a little bit dark inside you, because it's true. I mean, what kind of normal, healed, healthy person is okay with?
So do y'all
being
think
naked,
really,
being naked in front of a bunch of people?
You're kind of fringe.
Yeah.
Being a dancer, and you're out, like, you're doing that to yourself, and you're making that choice.
Yeah.
So y'all think the like darkness like ever leaves? Actually, though,
I think dancing healed some of my darkness.
It did for me too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of like the self-hate is controlled.
Yeah.
I mean, that just, yeah.
Are you from Richmond?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever seen people that you know at the club? That was like,
yeah.
I
did
got that on
last
repeat.
night.
Really? What do you do? What's that feeling like?
Okay, so this one's really funny. In 2020, this guy came in, and I was like being like Stella.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so like, what have you guys been up to tonight? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like being so, and we were all like, like in masks. Okay. So it's 2020. So
that's right. Okay. All right.
We were like dancing masked, and the guys were all in masks. And like, the guy like looks at me, and he's like, dude, like,
how'd you know him?
I know you. I'll tell him. So he like shows me, and I was like, oh my God. And it was like the guy that like I used to play with at the pool growing up, who was like living in my neighborhood, who like had a crush on me, like who like I grew up with him, like straight up grew up with him. And I was just like, I would have, if I had seen him and been able to recognize him, I wouldn't have put on that whole like,
so what brings you guys in?
Surface level.
Yeah. The BS.
Because that's embarrassing to me to have them having witnessed that.
Yeah.
And
they got your customer service
and
voice.
have known me since since like kindergarten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was a little bit tough because I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
26.
Okay.
I loved seeing guys from like high school and like that era because
you didn't go. You went to all girls school.
Okay, the brother school. But from my high school years, I loved seeing guys
you
who
in
like
your Hannah mode over there.
Yeah, I love seeing the guys who like wouldn't pay me any mind.
Oh
like,
yeah, no, it
come
feels
in and I'm
so
like,
good.
You're about to pay me to take my clothes off, but
And just ignoring them also, being like, they're like, oh my gosh, you're
Yeah.
from, and I'm like, who? Oh,
I'm like,
sorry,
oh,
I'm busy.
hey, good to see you.
Like, not caring.
But on the flip side of that, I've also seen, because I grew up in Richmond and I've worked in Richmond, I've lived in Richmond like my whole life, seeing like friends' boyfriends or like friends' husbands or like
Oh my gosh.
that kind of thing. And I know damn well your girlfriend does not want you to be here. And for the most part, it wasn't like a regulars situation. It was more of like a bachelor party, birthday party, whatever.
Did you snitch?
But no, I would never snitch. In fact, I've gone to VIP with like a friend's boyfriend.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Have you?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No.
I think he was so drunk though that he didn't realize who I was, especially with like
That's
all the
so
glam and
funny.
like.
Well, what about
Yeah.
you? You think that's wrong?
Do I think that's wrong? No, you came in there for a service. You were too drunk to realize who I was. You bought a VIP experience with me. You probably left the next morning and were like, "Oh no."
Also,
So-
like, you're using fake names, like, guys.
Yeah, I didn't
like,
use my
you're
real
not-
name. I didn't,
But it's your friend. Your friend's. So all right, what like is
A bag's a bag. Like I don't know what to tell you.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But no, I would
I
never
don't,
snitch.
I don't think I would do that.
would
I
never
don't
snitch.
think I
You
could.
wouldn't? What would you do? Be like,
it
do you
depends on
know
the
who
friends.
I am?
Yeah.
yeah like what? That's wrong.
I would die. I would
That's
die.
grimy.
I don't know what to tell you. Friend is a little bit of a stretch.
Okay.
Acquaintance that I've known for a while, but I'm not gonna like go out to lunch with just this girl.
Okay. Okay.
Mutual friends. Yeah, mutual friends. Is
I
probably a
need to
better
know
word.
the level.
I definitely
need to
know
know
the
the
girl, and I definitely
level.
knew that it was her boyfriend. But it isn't somebody that I would like text or.
But also, you would rather do the dance to know that the limits are there and know the
There we go.
information
There we go.
than
PR
have to do it with
PR it.
another girl,
No, it's
right?
true.
Because then you don't know what's going on in there.
I just didn't care. I mean,
Unfortunately,
money's
that,
money,
um,
but I love that. Or I would see like coworkers come in and we would like make eye contact, and I'd be like, "But you're here,
Exactly.
and I'm here, and we're both
That's how it is.
we both feel weird about being here, so neither of us are gonna say anything."
So besides y'all saying, "Oh, those are your favorite customers," what do y'all feel about the guys that are just commenting like, "Oh," like, or just say in general like, "Oh, those are just like strippers," like, "Oh, they're just strippers and they're negative."
I
Like,
think those people don't know any strippers, and probably not that many women.
yeah, that's very fair.
I do unfortunately think that my confidence or like my feeling okay talking about this job or doing this job came also from my success. I think that if I hadn't been as successful as I was, I would have not been as proud to talk about what I did. Even though it was empowering and it taught me a lot and it X, Y, and Z, if I was not as financially successful as I was doing it, I feel like I would have a harder time backing it up to people. Does that make sense?
I mean, that goes with like most sex work. Like, there's the meme where it's like, I can't do an OnlyFans because like, what if no one subscribes?
right, yeah.
But that's what's so great about dancing is that no one would really know,
Yeah.
and that's why we like to be able to slip in and out as we please.
Yeah.
Because it takes away the risk.
Yeah. But yeah, when people are like, "Did you like being a dancer?" and I'm like, "Yeah, it afforded me a lot, I can stay home with my son a lot. Like I can support just me and my family without anybody else's help. Like I have been able to travel. Like
Yeah.
I, paid through school, like whatever." I think that being able to back it up with all of those like successes makes me feel validated to other people when they ask about it. I think that if they had said, "Did you like being a dancer?" and I was like, "Oh, it was a fun couple of years, but like I don't have anything to show for it," that would be a little bit hard. I don't know. That might just be like a personal thing, but
I think
I
you've
think
already.
the success helps.
I think y'all have already answered this, but like, so like dating, and y'all are making all this money. Does that like kind of skew the tax bracket type of guy you want to
Yeah.
be with? Because you're like,
Oh, sorry, I answered that too quick. I thought you were asking, did me making a lot of money, did that show in the relationships at the time?
no, I mean like, oh, like I make this money and he don't got no money or whatever case may be. Like, he's not as attractive to me. Like, did that matter?
I think I'm kind of like, I'll take care of you.
Dude, that okay.
That's my problem.
I'll never do that again. But because of the money that I was making, I found myself paying for a lot more of stuff in relationships.
For sure.
Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Never again, but I do think that it was like, I don't know.
Well, because I feel like they're...
Where does that come from?
Why did that happen? I think it's compensating that you're getting this money from other guys. And so you want them to feel like they're getting something out of that.
You are just killing it today. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
No, that's so true, because I would be dating guys or whatever, and we would talk about work, and then I'd be like, yeah, but didn't we just go do X, Y, and Z? Mm-hmm. It almost kind of like justified me doing it.
Didn't me saying to a customer, oh my gosh, I really want to start playing Xbox, but I don't have one. Yeah. Like, now guess what you have, babe?
I would love to play Xbox with you remotely sometime, but I don't have an Xbox.
No, literally.
And then they like pull out their phone and Amazon you an Xbox.
Yeah, next day shipping. Yeah. Next day shipping.
You know, y'all said like I'd be the easiest customer, but it's like I'm not going in there ever, so I'm not. Because
I know, but we're just saying
I think you're getting a little butthurt about our comment with that. It's like, it's not you specifically. We're saying like your type of guy.
Yeah. Like your vibe would be the easiest to get through, because you would be.
We're not trying to pick on you.
No, I'm not butthurt. I'm thinking about like when you say that, I'm like.
Let me go back. Why would you say that about me?
No, I'm like, wait, like they're going for that. Like that's kind of like where my head's at.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm
like... You would be so surprised. I mean...
I don't think I'd be so surprised because...
I do think you would, because I think that there's guys that you'd be like, oh, not shocking at all. And then there's guys that you'd be like, you fell for that shit?
No, yeah. I think that the majority of guys in this world would fall for it.
Okay, well then that's true. Yeah. Guys are blinded by a lot. But I loved the challenge of some of them.
It's true.
That's amazing. Yeah. What other questions do you have?
Yeah, I have a couple more. Someone asked, are there rules for what you look like? And I don't know if that's kind of, I don't know if they're trying to be shitty and like.
No, they're saying like, can you have like no butt, big butt, small butt? Like, can you
there was anything? Every single
If you can get fucked, you can make money dancing.
But that's any girl though.
Yes. And there were some girls,
it's any girl.
Wait, this is about to be so mean. This fell down. I'm like literally under here. Can you fix it? There were some girls that were objectively not, like if I saw them, actually, okay, when at the end of the night, when we all go into the dressing room and we change out of our like glam and we're all in sweatpants and like have wiped off our makeup, I'm like, how did you make that money? Yeah. But they made bank. Some of the least attractive girls made bank.
I know why.
You cannot just be a pretty face in that club.
No,
absolutely
I know why.
Not.
Yeah.
Because the guy's like, oh, I can get with this one.
No, they were. They had something. I don't know what they were doing. But
I'm telling you, they're like, I can get with this one because she is less attractive. I can get this one if I give her enough money.
There's a small bit of truth to that. I do think that some of the girls that were so, I can like think right now, like so beautiful, guys were less likely to approach them because they felt like intimidated by them. But she would just go and approach them, so it didn't really matter. But I hear what you're saying. That you feel like the girls that were a little bit less attractive were like more like relatable, more attainable.
It's like you see like a little ratchet joint. You're like, oh yeah, she's gonna be nasty.
Yeah.
I saw this post,
but those girls were making so much money.
They were
exactly because they're like, oh yeah, she gonna like these guys that don't know. They're like, oh, she gonna suck me off in the back if I pay her.
Yeah, but she wasn't. She wasn't
like that's what.
But
I think okay. So I saw this post that's like, you can be attractive. Like, you can be hot and not be sexy.
Yeah.
And I think these girls,
the
way that they moved, the way that they acted, you can be not, like, attractive and be so sexy.
Yeah.
It's like a completely different category.
No, for sure.
And you have that X factor, and you're good at the job in the way that you talk. And, like, it might even confuse the guys. They're like, I didn't think I was attracted to you, but there's something here that's sexy as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, and it works.
We would have girls that would come in and like and you were supposed to like have your hair down.
Oh, they had rules. You can't even wear your hair up.
Yeah, like you had to wear your hair down. You had to have a certain. There were rules to that too. But we would have girls who would come in running late from work, no makeup. They like threw an outfit on and hardly brushed their hair, and they made like hand over fist money.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Look, I know.
Yeah. I didn't think about it that way. That's probably a good point. But yeah.
If I went to the strip club, I'd probably do that.
Yeah. Go for the
the
easiest girl.
If my green light, I would go and I went in the strip club and I was like into doing such, like, I would be like, I'm in here. Like, if before this podcast and I went into the strip club and I was going to the strip club for a reason, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get laid by a stripper. And I would probably go for the less attractive one because I think that she would be.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Because I would like think that they would go for the fantasy one that they couldn't get like IRL. Like that's how my brain would work. But it's interesting coming from a perspective.
I mean, I think also too, it depends because like what you said a second ago, there is a clear difference actually. Like I always say, like I can tell the type of girl how the way she walks. And I know that's very, like, a bold statement, but, like, sometimes the way a girl walks can be way more attractive than who they are, and that, like, bumps them up a million points than, like, they just have a very attractive face or big boobs or a big butt. Like, the way they carry themselves, they could be, you know, hypothetically a 4 and be bumped up to, like,
But that's the thing. We were in a club full of very beautiful girls with fake boobs and fake butts and whatever, and you had to have something else.
It's subjective too because I got homies that don't like butts at all.
And that's true. That was one of the things that I loved about it was that there was a guy for everyone.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like you are someone's dream girl, and you just have to find them that night.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. I mean, my group message that I'm in, like, it's kind of crazy. Like the types, and then the types that they're like, ew, she's disgusting.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? She's literally like almost a 10.
Yeah. But a 10 to you is a 10, not a 10 to somebody else.
All right. Side question. Do y'all have a 10 guy? Like, is there a guy that's a 10?
Yes. Men that hate me and treat me really poorly.
No, like that's attractive, like physically attractive. Like, can you like say, oh, there's a guy 10, like, and like I don't know, Brad Pitt or something.
My spectrum runs so different. So no.
Same.
Yeah. It's
Mm.
all about.
You've
like,
never seen a 10.
I've seen a lot of 10s.
Okay, but then like you might see a 10, but then you're like, ew.
Yeah.
Like
I might see a 10. No, I might see a 10 and then he opens his mouth and I'm like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
Or I see a 10 and then like I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think a guy 10 exists. I am not on that wave.
That's fair.
I have like 2 last questions. Okay,
Yeah.
someone asked where we get our costumes.
Shannon.
Where? Sheen?
Yeah.
I wasn't like a big costume person. There are so many costumes, like in quotes. There are so many girls who did do like the slingshot bodysuits.
I don't do that.
Yeah, like they did like stripper outfit, quintessential stripper outfits. I was just buying a bikini.
I borrowed one yesterday and I was like, this is different. I feel like a stripper.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because I wear like
And I think that's the allure.
Outfit,
that's the allure of like different girls there, right? Like some of them were like girl next door vibes where they were just there in like almost normal clothing and like a bikini. Or there were girls who were like stripper vibes and they attracted a certain clientele and the girl next door attracted a clientele.
Exactly.
But there was this one woman, I don't know if she still comes around, but she like made stripper outfits and like once a month she would come to the club and come in the dressing room and like sell stripper outfits. That was cool. And then you started talking about this a little bit earlier in the episode. Someone said, "Are the other girls nicer? Is it like TV?" You can start this because I'm not there right now.
I think that's like an 80-20.
Yeah.
I think typically it's a lot easier to do the job if you guys are friends and you're supporting each other. And I think most people have that attitude. And there's always those who maybe, like you said, don't have like the healed part you need to do that. And that's how they're getting their empowerment is competing, which you're really not. Like I said, you don't know what guy's type is what, so you really can't compete with each other.
Yeah.
Like a guy the other day was like, "Oh my gosh, I just love like the socks that she's wearing with her boots." I'm like, "See, I don't wear boots, so like I would never fall into like that. Is so sexy to him, and I would never do that. And that's like a weird thing that he's into that I would never be able to guess.
Yeah. Or he's like, I am only here for the girl with the full sleeve of tattoos. I'm like, I can't provide that for you.
So you're not, you just can't compete with each other. Yeah. And the 20% that do, I think probably have a much harder time because they're not getting that community aspect that I think is so important.
Yeah. I found that the girls for the most part were like, and I'm sure it depends club to club because we worked in more of like a home club environment where like you were seeing the same girls multiple times a week as opposed to like
in Atlanta, they were really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't think it's like what TV is like, but I do think that sometimes if you stepped on toes when it came to money, people would get, that's where like the fights came from.
But that's like in every work environment.
Right. Any sales environment specifically.
So,
if you're like commission based or whatever, like you're going to step on each other. But I think the girls, some of my best friendships have come from dancing, and I stand by that.
That's fire.
Yeah. I have one last question.
Yeah, do it.
What do you think was the worst part, or like the hardest part? Or, sorry, yeah. What do you think is or worst? Yeah, ask the question.
The hardest part
or worst, bad, negative.
I think the hardest part is when you don't want to be there. And you somehow have a really good night, and then you have to dance, and you don't want to dance, and you have to be touched, and you don't really want to be, and then it feels so much dirtier than it usually does because you're like I'm just being bought.
Yep. Yeah. So like
you
the
don't
bad
feel
nights.
you don't feel that way regularly though?
No, I feel like I achieved the sale, not that like I am like a pig up for slaughter. Like. Yeah. They want to dance with you, and I'm like,
do you remember?
Or they smell bad.
Were you there when we used to have to
walk on stage like a corral? Yeah, I was sacked. Literally
to sacked. The Girls by Motley Crue that still plays in my head in my nightmares.
Yes, like once an hour or something.
It was like once an hour on the hour. They would play Girls by Motley Crue, and every girl in the club would get up, and we would do like a little in a line. Get up on the stage, do like this little like turn and get off the stage. And it was legit like you were being like bought at auction.
Yeah, it was so bad.
They didn't do that. They didn't continue that. But that was not
They
not
stopped
cool.
it during COVID because I think like 6
we
foot
couldn't
rule.
have multiple people on stage.
It was
well,
so
thank
bad.
God. That's one of the good things that came
and
from
it was
COVID.
so long. Like the song was so long.
You know, it was, oh my God.
Yeah, don't miss that. Also, like...
It was so weird. I felt like I was in some weird, like, Amsterdam red light district. Like, you were trying to buy me. That's what I felt like.
Yeah. That was pretty degrading.
I have a racist comment. I'm going to have to cut. But,
Miles.
My ex came in and bought a dance with me because I wouldn't talk to him.
How was that?
You block his number and he comes into the club and there's nothing you can do about it.
That happened like 2 weeks ago.
And like for what it's worth, management would not let you like turn down a dance.
No.
There would have to be like some extenuating circumstances for them to not be getting that money.
Was it like a fire dance or was it like...
Or did y'all just fight the whole time in VIP?
No.
No, that's what I would do.
No, I was like being Stella.
So you just treated him regular?
You like turned it all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Did that make him mad?
Dude, yeah.
Are y'all getting back together?
No.
Promise?
Yeah.
That's actually even better that you did that. If it were me and my ex came in and bought a dance, I'd be like, you are about to pay $500 to listen to me bitch about our relationship. Have a seat. I'm going to take my shoes off. But you were like, I'm going to give you the full experience because it might piss you off more.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Well, this was definitely my favorite episode.
Yeah. We got, oh my God.
If whatever is a top tier strip club, if there's HR or anything in there, I definitely feel like you should, head of marketing, something like.
Or like PR.
I'm not gonna lie.
The Batman, like after the city's destroyed, I'm like, listen.
Yeah, no. Especially for some of the bad press that has come to some of the Richmond clubs, you need to apply for like, hey, I could smooth things over for you.
I really honestly, look. I really feel like you're about to have some guys in the club to like Wednesday night because they're like, oh, it's actually not bad at all. Like, all right, I'm gonna go. Like,
yeah,
like, I'll take good care of you.
Like, I feel like
strip clubs are great.
I feel like like the girls that are gonna be listening that have boyfriends that don't want their guys, I feel like they're gonna be like, you know what? She's kind of right. Like you can go. Like I feel like.
Oh, can I plug that really quickly at the end? Like
this is the end.
I know. Sorry. Strippers don't want your boyfriend.
Oh, never.
So like female
Ew.
to female, if you are like, I don't let my boyfriend go to a strip club, I'm not telling you one way or another what to do with your relationship, but just know that like there is no worry there.
But that's not why all the time. It's like because you're half naked sometimes or whatever, and then you're like.
Your
shaking
boyfriend's
butt
probably
or
gonna
whatever.
watch porn in the bathroom at home by himself anyway. Like just go provide for the local economy.
You heard it here first, girlfriends. Thank you so much. Yeah, Jinx,
Like,
knock on wood,
yeah.
Buggy, whatever.
You
That-
were better than I think we could have imagined.
Yeah, no, this was fire. I'm about to be a stripper, I think.
Yeah.
It's a little different for guys.
That's my
Yeah.
least that's my least favorite comment when someone's like, "Oh, Christmas is coming up. If you see me on the pole, like mind your business." I'm like, "You wouldn't last 30 fucking minutes."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for
Bye.
listening. Yeah, bye. I'm losing my voice more.